Next Level Miniatures has launched their Dragon Hoard Miniatures Volume 2. Before most people got their Volume 1 stuff. And, gee whiz, that's interesting. Well, let's just take it their previous things there, and we got their little Dragon Hordes Miniature Volume 1 there. And let's just take a look at the comments and see how many of these are really positive. Yeah, there's not that many that are very positive. There's a lot of people saying that they haven't got shipping notices. Remember Blacklist Games? Oh, again, I'm just going to read some of these out because I haven't seen this. This is literally all new to me, but I'm sure it's going to be a lot of negative things about how people have not gotten their games, have not gotten their miniatures, or have gotten their miniatures and are disappointed. Now, they have done the good thing about reaching out and say, we're going to do polls. We're going to get feedback. We're going to make sure the next thing is... But, like, shouldn't you wait a little bit now? Even if this... I don't think it would hurt them in the long run. I don't know why launching this next thing right now. I guess they're hoping that nobody will do research into it and get an informed decision, because, like, the thing of, like, them doing it now is just, like, they really needed to, like, cool it off for a bit. I don't know if they're on, like, a schedule and, like, they can't. But if you're running a business and, like, you have something that you can't put the brakes on for, like, a couple weeks, I don't know. Maybe they need the money desperately and they're on a timeline. I don't know. I have no clue. They have not reached out to me other than the one comment saying that they're going to be looking for feedback, which they have done. So who knows? Again, with the feedback, they could change things around. They could make dramatic changes, or they could change enough stuff that, like, most people would be happy with this new Kickstarter. But what they're doing is they're just kind of launching it without... Anyways, let's read some of these comments. Remember Blacklist Games? How could you start a second miniature campaign without fulfilling your first project? This is going to be a bloodbath. Another one says, I have to get Volume 1 before committing to Volume 2. Same thoughts as below. I haven't even gotten my shipping noticed. Seeing a second campaign come out before even getting the first one is really giving me deja vu on another project. Until I actually get what I ordered from Volume 1, I am not even considering Volume 2. Maybe you would get more backers from your new Kickstarter if all the backers from Kickstarter had gotten their miniatures from this Kickstarter. Yeah, hard to back something when I have yet to see the miniatures from this one. Maybe fulfilling the Kickstarter before launching another one, just a thought. Looking forward to getting my all halfling miniatures /F. Looking forward to getting all my halfling miniatures. Looking forward to getting my all halfling miniatures /S. It seems they can't even standardize their own miniature bases. Every one of my miniatures got hit by a shrink spell. Yeah. I've only glanced at this before. But yeah, I think they have a good thing. Like, it just seems, unless they are under financial constraints where they need to complete the Kickstarter, like now, and they are on a hard deadline where they have to get the money at the end of the Kickstarter, and they've planned it. Like, I think this is a very foolish thing. If nothing else, I don't think anybody was super clamoring for this Kickstarter. I think a lot of people... I think there were many people who were silent majority probably who were fine with the miniatures that they got. There were other people who were like, you know what, they're a little bit smaller scale, but you know what, I like that because a lot of my miniatures are the older ones, which are in a smaller scale, so I like that. However, there was a large vocal majority online who didn't like this, so I don't know. I don't know what their deal is. I am not sure at all. Let's take a look at the actual Dragon Hoard Volume 2 one. And let's see what they say about scale. It just says 28mm scale again for use with other fantasy RPGs and tabletop games. Yep. Yeah, if those other miniatures are 28mm scale, that's fine. An all-in pledge. So, I mean, this looks pretty... It looks like they've solved the scale base issue where they have the standardized bases. And these definitely look a little bit closer to 28 millimeter heroic if those are correct base size. Kind of looks like that. Dark Creeper. Again, it's a big Dark Creeper. I guess whoever's like in charge of the design just loves really big old tiny big small creatures. See, all this stuff is incredibly well designed. I said this for the first Kickstarter. Whoever is designing and sculpting these is doing an amazing job. Because, again, you generally will see stuff that's, like, creative. I've never seen a troll in a pose like that before where they have all 4 limbs on the ground like that. That's a cool-looking troll. But, yeah. Note, base and peg are subject to change. So yeah, the miniatures, if these bases are standardized, look a lot bigger. And right here, if these are the same bases that they're used before, then these miniatures are in bigger scale. And that's a proper owlbear right there. That's not a tiny owlbear. If that thing's a 50 millimeter base, then that is a owlbear that will fit in scale with any other owlbear. So we'll have to see. And they have a thing about the miniatures. We had a great deal of feedback. We've taken steps to come at a size more in line with other commonly cited 28mm scale lines out there. Well, the issue is, of course, is that most people, when they talk about 28mm miniatures, they're talking about 28mm heroic, which is larger things. So there's really not that many 20mm scales. And the point being that I said in my video before is that the smaller miniatures weren't actually scaled to 28mm because the kobolds and goblins were massive. So I don't know if that was a correct like choice, but it's just like it's so weird. It's a very weird thing to have like such disparity in scale. Unpainted renders are designed closely as possible. How it fits on the company base. So they are saying that the base that we saw in those previous images is the correct base. Affordability. Yep. Well, I mean, these miniatures are some of the most inexpensive miniatures out there for the amazing detail that they have. I think even though more than half of the miniatures I'm probably not going to use, I still got my money's worth out of that first Kickstarter just because of the quality and the miniatures that I can use. Spin cast, yeah. So they're talking about different varieties and methods of production. Yep. Yeah, they're talking about using material that's even less flexible than the CO cast of the first Kickstarter, which is not a great thing because durability was my number one thing, even before the scale, frankly. Yeah, care and cleanup. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of people were complaining about the sprue. I think these people are just people that are new to the hobby and just didn't understand that like all miniatures, pretty much all miniatures at this price range are gonna have sprue issues and cleanup issues. I think the sprue and line cleanups on these were actually much easier to deal with than the ones from the Reaper Bones. Ones with the Reaper Bones, some of those line cleanups were in a massive pain. So I'm glad they're addressing it, but I don't think it was a big of an issue. Yep. Yeah, so and they're also making it very clear about the base and assembly and stuff. So they're definitely trying to be more clear about stuff. And they are definitely... Yeah, so they're definitely 100% trying to get stuff... They're actually showing, they're trying to show the different scale here, so yeah. It looks like they are going to be bigger. Base size. Yeah, they're showing the size guys there, so yeah. And they're showing prototypes. Yeah, and they're showing specifically that they are doing stuff more in scale to the prototype. It's weird that they're comparing. You guys couldn't just get a Null's Ears owlbear to compare to the other owlbear. It would have been a better comparison. Yeah, please note, I do think it's a little bit... The one ogre that was pretty much scaled correctly was the one that they're using from the Volume 1 thing. Yeah, if they used one of the Volume 1, elementals or something, it would have looked a little bit shrimpy over that. And yeah, you can see definitely they compare directly Volume 1 Cleric Again, some of these ones I definitely think were closer to 25 millimeter than 28 scale. But yeah, you could definitely see the Barbarian. If you've seen my scale comparisons, that was one of the closer ones. And yeah, the Dragonborn is definitely closer to that. So you can definitely see that, they scaled up a little bit. So I don't know. Maybe they thought they could solve all the issues without getting all the feedback back, or maybe they felt they got enough feedback and they understood everything. Is there any comments on this thing? Minis on skateboards. Sizing. It looks better than medium things. Yeah. The troll is 2.2 tall. Yeah. The owlbear is listed at 2.3. Yeah, I think your miniatures are... I think they're scaled up a little bit, but I don't know. It's tough to tell unless you see them in person. I mean, frankly, I'm one of these people. It's difficult to know. Ooh. So now they're saying that the miniatures are scaled that way because of Frog Games specifications. That's interesting. So that's how it's going here. I don't know. It's an interesting move. I think that this company's probably under financial constraints in terms of like when they can plan to do their Kickstarters. And considering the amount of outreach that they did to get feedback, I think that they are definitely want to do stuff. I don't think they wanted to do it like this. I think they definitely wanted to do something a little bit different in terms of, so who knows? We'll have to see. Again, tough to judge. It's very tough to judge, but we'll have to see. In any case, I wish the best for them. I wish the best in terms, I hope the backers of this particular project are much happier than it seems like a lot of the backers were not happy with the last one for various reasons. So yeah. Maybe they'll include more feedback and more scale comparisons, etc., as they go through. We'll have to see. At this point, I'm not going to back this because they didn't really address any of the issues. I'm going to read this over again. Maybe they did address the fragility issues and the inflexibility issues and the durability issues. Maybe they did address those. I don't know. But anyways. So yeah, the confusion, a very confusing decision to just go ahead with the next Kickstarter, especially given the temperament around these sort of Kickstarters, given what we've seen in the recent past.
Welcome to the territory.